According to my friend and brother, Chuka Ihonor, a renowned British-born Nigerian architect, judge so that you will be judged. May Lagos judge all of us. Same Chuka also described Lekki Phase 1 as an expensive slum because of our attitude to building control and lack of compliance to building regulations and environmental standards. Studies from the Building Collapse Prevention Guide shows that in the last 10 years, about 271 buildings have collapsed in Lagos. That is representing about 50% of the total number of collapsed buildings in Nigeria. The reasons for these are not far-fetched, as our collective attitude to building control in Lagos and in Nigeria is very poor. Starting from government officials collecting money to circumvent the process, professional stakeholders like developers, building consultants, architects, structural engineer, service engineer, quantity surveyor, project managers and other consultants, cutting corners, inability to ensure strict enforcement of regulation, the lackadaisical attitude of people to building regulation, and our usual blame game of ethnicity and poverty. Now, poverty made them put that house there. Studies also identify the use of substandard building materials, poor workmanship by contractors, use of incompetent contractors, faulty construction methodology, heavy downpour and non-compliance with specifications, standards, developers, contractors, inadequate lack of supervision and monitoring as major factors for building collapse. It takes compliance with building codes to make a city beautiful. The patterns brings out the aesthetics, and the lightning will be the icing on the cake. Like if you're coming down, you are descending into Manhattan. You see the buildings, lovely. But ours is the usual opposite, as we blame everybody but ourselves. Why is it that any time there's a notice of demolition by the Lagos State government over non-compliance with building regulation, we read ethnic connotation to it without looking at the hazard and consequences of lack of compliance? Why will someone seek approval for something and then build an entirely different thing? Who also gives approval for a beautiful, lovely building fenced around in a corner piece without provision for parking, and the owner go park motor for along the road without recourse to innocent road users? Why government officials go give approval in the first place and then turn around to demolish the same building? Plenty question, plenty why, but small answers. It is a notorious fact that government officials who are supposed to ensure compliance with building codes and environmental regulation consistently collect bribes to circumvent the process. But are they punished when caught? Only government go fit answer that questions. That's why you see government officials when collect his salary than 750K with brown suit and dirty collars. But that same person get 5 properties from Agodo. May Lagos judge all of us. How about architects, engineers, building engineers? They submit a different building plan for approval and build an entirely different structure while telling the owner of the property, no worry, when the enforcement unit come, we'll settle them. If you investigate most buildings in Lagos, you'll be shocked to find out that all these buildings, a lot of them are far from what was actually approved. Why are we so callous to ourselves? If you talk about developers who won't live here today, you collect a plot of land that can take just a building, but because of gain, you're squeezing 5 buildings into that small space and then turn around to throw blame at people tomorrow. May Lagos judge you for your crime against humanity. Building collapse in an area and the people go say, they don't know the developer. Are we that blind to our environment and neighborhood? How about landlord, Uko? Because you must be landlord in Lagos at all costs. You buy a drainage, a canal as a plot of land from Omonile. You build a house on a drainage channel and still wonder why the whole place is flooded. As if that's not enough, you go ahead to build small shops, shanties on the setbacks and the drainage, or even block access to NEPA cable sometimes, and then collect outrageous rent from desperate people, citing poverty. Yet when building control people come, they call God, Amadio Hashango. God will not only judge you, the judgment of Lagos will descend on all of us. Go to Lagos Island and see how people have turned every single corner, every single space into a shop or office, and the distortion to all of the buildings. See how Madlas building and the other buildings around that environment have been turned into something else, with people building generator houses on top of transformers, despite clear dangers, as some government officials and enforcement units have turned monitoring into a money-making venture. If you talk, they will throw an ethnic card at you. But these are many more. I pray that Lagos will continue to judge all of us. If you think it's only in poor areas like Bariga, Okokomaiko, Alakuko, Ajangbadi, or Lagos Island that all of these things happen, then you never reach Lekki. Go to Lekki and see how people have distorted building plan, all in the name of conversion from residential to commercial. Can Lagos truly judge all of these inadequacies? I pray. I will therefore advocate. Government must, as a matter of urgency, ensure the requirement of building approval are made public and strict compliance is ensured to the latter. If possible, resume of major contractors, consultants, subcontractors should be submitted alongside application. In the event of default, while demolition serves as a deterrent, prosecution of both the owner and developers, corporate, private, major investors, the consultants, architects, and everybody involved in that project will serve as a deterrent to others. And also, government need to ensure that its officials who are saddled with the responsibility of approval and appraisers on monitoring and enforcement and compliance are also prosecuted in the event that default. That way, people will not only avoid cutting corners, but officials will also ensure strict compliance. If we made sense to you, kindly follow us on all our social media platforms showing on your screen, like and share, so that people will ensure that our society is not only safe, but will comply with rules and regulations, so that Lagos will not judge all of us. For anything that is left uncontrolled, controls the rest of us. See you soon.